Morning and welcome to the second ever episode of the Football Centres podcast. I'm your returning host Trent, joined to the right of me by both the co-owners of the Football Centre, Dean Evans and Reece Patilla. Boys, how are we?
Go on, Reece.
Very well. How are you, Trent?
I'm not bad.
Very well, Treno. Good to see you, mate.
Good to see you as well. So the second episode this week, we're going to be talking about the centre itself, with both the owners and talking about sort of a bit of background to it, what we do while we do it, and looking towards the future. Last week we had provisional psychologist Sam Stone on. Reece had a very informative chat about mental health and football.
Yes, it was awesome. It was really informative, and I think I know I got a lot out of it, so I hope whoever listening got a lot out of it as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. We've hopefully ironed out some technical difficulties, so we should have a full video on YouTube.
Well, still working on it.
Fingers crossed.
Still working on it.
Fingers crossed. So, as I said, this week we're going to dive into a little bit of both the boys' footballing backstories and what led up to them starting the Football Centre. I think it's important because you boys are both obviously the faces of the company. So it's important to know sort of where you came from and how you started. So, Dean, we'll start with you.
Yep.
So, in terms of when you were playing football, maybe when you left school, what were you doing playing football and sort of coaching?
Yeah, so I think Reece and I both had similar backgrounds in the sense we both came through the Glory Youth system, playing and I guess chasing that dream of becoming a professional. I think we both got to a stage where we thought, you know what, we need a backup plan. I never studied after high school, which was, probably a mistake now that I look back at it. I think Reece went to uni for a bit, but he can tell you his part. But yeah, from there we worked with different private companies and coaching, and we fell in love with, I think, that side of the game.
Yeah.
So that was awesome, and I guess being good mates off the pitch as well, we ended up living together, and then look, we'll get to the idea of how it all came about, but that's pretty much how it went for me.
Yeah.
Just
playing and coaching.
Yeah, playing and coaching. We love the sport. We still do. We still play, and I think that's going to lead us in good stead for more years to come.
For sure. Reece, how about yourself?
I think, for me, I've always been passionate about football, so I wanted to stay in the game no matter what. So like Dean mentioned, the goal was always to be a pro. When that kind of fizzled out towards the end of my career at Glory, you start looking for different options, and the options were, how can I still stay in the game in a professional environment? So we went into coaching and youth coaching, and did bits and pieces for all different companies and businesses, Football West, Perth Glory, schools, and that was my link to the game still.
Yeah.
And it was still, now the dream was just slightly different. It was to stay in the game in a different form, and that was to be a coach. Like Dean mentioned, that's what led us to this idea and running this successfully.
Yeah, for sure.
For the last 2.5 years. So I'm still passionate about playing.
Game tonight.
Game tonight.
Big game.
Yeah, big game tonight. It's double
the body's
header.
getting a bit older, isn't it?
It is. Either the league's gotten fitter or I've gotten older and slower, so I'm not sure which one that is. But no, still enjoy playing, but super passionate about coaching now, and that's a career path obviously we've both set ourselves on. It's been fantastic so far.
Awesome. So I think in Perth it's probably very difficult to, if you don't own your own business, to probably coach full time. Is that a fair statement, or?
It's hard. I mean, Perth, we're limited here, aren't we? We've got one professional club.
Yeah.
And within Perth Glory, how many full-time staff are there? I'm not sure. There's many. So it's super difficult, and that's why you see so many different private organisations popping up now. Especially with social media, it's so easy. You put a brand out there, you put a good video and a post, and all of a sudden you're an expert coach.
Yeah.
And you're running your own thing, which is cool. From my business point of view, I think that's awesome that people are taking that leap and doing that. It's excellent. Whether it's justified or not is a different story.
Yeah.
But it is difficult. But anyone that looks to pursue that dream of theirs to be a coach, whether in a private organisation or within the FFA and the A-League system or Football West, good on you. Well done.
100%. So, the idea of the Football Centre, obviously you wanted to own your own sort of idea of a coaching business. How did it sort of come about that you wanted to be indoors and you wanted to get a factory and sort of start it up?
Yeah, well, look, Reece and I were living together at the time. and we were still working and coaching and playing, and we just honestly one day we just thought of a business idea, and in the sense of when it started, we were thinking just of a limited sort of space, really small, more for private coaching, so 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s, and then we kept talking and ideas just kept coming along. So we did our research. We found a great place in Aussie Park, which is this. We also looked at a few different areas around Perth, but Osborne Park being a central location, we thought, you know what, this is probably what's going to suit us best. And then from that, like I said, the ideas that came from it, and we've probably, look, we're 2.5 years, nearly 3 years, we've probably not done everything we've wanted to just yet, and that's, I think, the beauty of it. Year by year, we're learning and seeing what needs improvement, what we can do more with. And we're happy where we are at the moment, but like I said, so much more room for improvement, and I think, years to come, we're looking, I guess, further down the track as well.
For sure.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, like Dean mentioned there, it was more coaching that led us to the warehouse idea and working with players in a one-on-one environment. And then the idea started to grow a little bit more, and it was like, hang on a second, if we get a bigger place, we can maybe do group sessions. And then it kind of grew even bigger, and we're like, hang on a second, if we get a bigger place, we can actually run like social tournaments. Because we always felt like if you wanted a social game, there's not really a venue which is like, has a bit of a vibe. You go into a rec centre and you're playing, and we wanted to maybe create something cool. People wanted to play here because it was quality. The standard of play, the facility. So as soon as that came into our minds, we everything shifted, and we started looking at bigger places. Obviously the costs went up with it, but higher risk, higher reward. And like Dean mentioned, this is what led us here today. So I'm so glad we took that bigger risk, and we didn't go with the original idea of just the coaching aspect. Because I think a lot of people consider us a coaching business, but when you actually take a step back, coaching is just one part of what we do.
For sure.
It's a small part of what we do on the bigger scale of things here.
For sure. And how important was having walls like around you? Because I know in terms of coaching, having like boys and girls have a ball and practice skills against the wall is like so important to sort of how do you develop someone. I think because with the wall is really important for you to get in place. That's
big time.
Undercover.
I growing up, I had a great coach in Mickey Lyons that helped me, and basically it was down at North Beach. They've got a big wall there, and that was loads of my practice growing up, and I found that so beneficial and helpful for my development. And it's great. We get to use that within our sessions, as well as just the facility itself. We've got a full-size goal, small goals, we've got everything. So Reece and I, we've always said, this is a place with no excuses. You come in here, you train. If you want to get better, this is the place to be. So I guess we've been fortunate enough with what we've set up, and we still want to grow. We still want to do more. We still have higher ambitions and aspects that we want to reach. Different targets, different groups around Perth where we can help them. Because ultimately, we're helping them become better footballers, but as well we're helping them become better people. So if we can hopefully outlay what we've been throughout our career, and give back to the game in Perth, that'll be great.
Sure. Race.
I think going back to the wall aspect there, it just gives a different dimension to what you can do as a coach. I love coaching outdoors as well, and we do run outdoor sessions, but what you find is, especially with the younger age groups, balls run away from the kids. Passes go astray, and then the game stops.
It wastes time as well.
It's a waste of time. In here, it's fantastic because no matter what you do, the balls are always in play. Not saying that we play off the balls, but even if a shot's missed or a pass goes astray, the ball's straight back in. The ball's straight back in. So it's a very enclosed environment. Like Dean says, no excuses in here. There's no time off. There's no collecting the balls. You've got everything you need in here. And that's one of the main things we wanted when we set this place up, is that you take away the excuses from players, it holds them accountable. It holds us accountable. There's no reason why you can't perform in here at your very best all the time. There's no weather issues. The only thing we consider is it's a little bit hot, but that's where we live.
You sweat anyway.
Exactly.
That's football.
Not to mention the older guys that play in the tournaments. I think they like it. They lose a few kgs. Lose a few kgs.
For sure. So there's potentially an argument that sort of in Australia at the moment and junior football that we lack really good quality technical players and boys and girls with really good technique. And was that sort of an idea that obviously you bring into all the sessions that we coach, that it's just focusing a lot on technique, and or where's the balance between sort of technique and sort of your overall sort of understanding of the game?
Look, me personally, I think technique, of course, is more important than the physical side of game.
Yeah.
Look, I think in order to get better with your technique, you need to do more. You need to train more. I feel like not kids. I wouldn't say kids these days, but just in general, I feel like Australian footballers, we don't train enough.
Yeah.
Like I've gone overseas and I've seen different youth academies, and the amount of training they do is not because they're told to do it, but they love it. They love doing it. It's their life at a young age, and in order to get to the top level, they need to be training more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 2 days, 3 days, maybe
enough.
it's probably not enough. In the sense, it could be. Don't get me wrong, 2 or 3 days could be, but as long as they're doing extras outside of their actual training, then yeah, they'll see quicker improvements. But I find that youth sport in Australia, or in football, is still a bit away from. I feel like other countries, especially in Asia, are starting to get on top of us as well, which is, it's scary. It's scary because we want Australia to be the number one, soccer sport, especially going around,
Yeah, 100%.
So,
I think on top of what Dean mentioned there as well, kids obviously don't train enough, number one. And even when they do want to train, they substitute it for something else, like a physical session or a gym session. Now, I'm referring to young players here. I'm referring to like 9 to 15 here. So instead of going out and doing another technical session or working with the ball or working within a team environment, they're going to the gym and saying that's an added session to their regime. Now, don't get me wrong. The gym, if done correctly, will have fantastic benefits. But in that age bracket, if you're substituting that for a technical session where you're working with the ball, you're missing out.
Yeah,
you're missing out. To make it to the highest level, you need to be technically efficient.
100%,
I can't stress that enough. Now, what holds people back, or what I feel holds people back 99% of the time from jumping to the next level, is the technical aspect of the game and making good decisions under high pressure. The physical aspect isn't one of them. We've seen that in an FFA Cup, for example, when state league sides mix it with A-league sides. Physically, they're there. They train 2-3 times a week, and they can get up for a game. It's the technical aspect and the decision making and the game awareness that our young players lack. So they need to be exposed to more training with the ball under high pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
And not physical sessions. That comes later on. That comes later on.
They're still developing at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
Even up to 21, I think.
So it's, for me, it's not important.
Yeah.
The physical side of things is not important. Your technical side, you look at the Japanese sides. I was talking to you about it before, and I'm in awe of them. Just the way they handle the ball and how technically sound they are.
They're so tidy with the ball.
I'm sure they're not spending hours as a kid in the gym, doing squats and lunges and all that rubbish. But for me, it's just, like Reece said, they need to do more on the ball, and they need to be more comfortable with the ball, and especially in Perth.
It's evident here in the State League when we play with young players coming through. The biggest thing I've noticed is the lack of technical ability and game intelligence. Physically they're fantastic. Don't get me wrong. They're sharp, they're strong, they're quick. But you can be sharp, strong, and quick. If I'm one step ahead of you, one step ahead of you. So the game intelligence, the technical aspect is still lacking here. And I think it's showing because we're not producing players, not just in Perth, but Australia-wide.
Potentially just producing a whole lot of very similar players that are physically adept, but no one that really stands out technically.
I read a good article from the Western United player, centre midfielder from Greece. Is it Koke? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I read an article a while ago, and he said Kone. Sorry, my apologies. He said he was, the league in itself's unbelievably physical. Players can get around the pitch unbelievably tactically and technically. He goes so far behind.
Yeah, he did say that.
And that was interesting to hear. One of the best players coming out of Greece saying that, coming to a new league. It's just, okay, what are we doing wrong then? What do we need to do more of in Australia to match it with the rest of the world? I think that's a big question we need to ask.
There's so many variations and variables to it. It's not one
solution.
It's not one thing in particular. There's so many different aspects.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think I've even found as I'm playing as a junior that physically I probably wasn't up to scratch But then when I got to sort of 18, 19, 20, when I sort of caught up with everyone physically, and I sort of had that technical background, you just sort of almost, when you reach that age, everyone's sort of physically the same when they're 20, 21. Yeah. But if you don't have that, technical background, or as being a good player, you probably won't, get anywhere far.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm a big believer. You'll find your level.
Yeah.
And the reason you find your level is because you obviously can't jump to the next one.
Yeah.
And usually it's because the technical aspect of the game.
Yeah. So boys, talking about Football Centre as the business, because a few things that you probably didn't potentially plan but have really taken off. Like, for example, we're birthday.
A lot of it. Yeah, a lot of it.
Lots of it.
So, because as a small business owner, because we might have small business owners watching, how important is it sort of to be open-minded about what your space can do? Because I know, like, birthday parties, were they in the picture?
No, not at all. And no, like you said, Trina, you have to be. You have to be. We speak to that many different footballing people around Perth, that many people just involved in business, and we get ideas from them too.
Yeah.
We early on when we started, we were speaking to a guy that worked with cricket mentoring, and he was big with his social media, and he just gave us different ideas and how we can improve in that aspect of things. Birthday parties, like you said, we didn't even think about until parents said, "Why don't you do birthday parties?" And we're like, "You know what, maybe we should."
Great idea.
And we did, and since then it's kicked off. Nearly every weekend we have a birthday party, and it's fantastic. Kids love it. Kids love being here.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, our business plan, if we showed you our business plan now and what we actually do, I reckon we don't do 80% of what we originally thought we would do.
Yeah, which is...
The birthday party one is the biggest one.
I still remember
that. I think it was the Fergusons, some good friends of ours that come here regularly. They wanted to celebrate one of their kids' birthdays. And we looked at each other like, we don't do that. They're like, why don't you do that? We're like, we're not sure. We can do it though, I guess. And then we added it to the website, and all of a sudden, word of mouth, a little bit of advertising, and I think we smashed out 52 birthdays last year.
That's incredible. In
2019, which is awesome. Which is awesome. So, like I said, coaching is one aspect of what we do, but we're a facility at the end of the day.
Yep.
We have to cater to everyone and everything, and anything that really involves the game in any way or shape or form, we facilitate here.
For sure. All right. Okay, so starting up a small business can potentially be very daunting for a lot of people, and the whole idea might put some people off entirely, but obviously you boys took a brave step in doing it. What are some of the sort of the challenges that you faced in terms of starting up and in terms of what other people thought as well?
I think from my point of view, everything was scary.
Yeah, literally.
Coaching was our big passion. But apart from that, in football, in regards to running a business and how things worked, I knew very little. So it was a big learning process, and I'm sure it's the same for Dean. And I'm still learning now. So for anyone out there that's willing to start a small business, the best advice I can give you is just start it. And learn on the way. Learn on the way. I don't think no matter how many courses you do, it's not going to prepare you for what it's actually like when you start and you're running. And the biggest thing I found is, like I mentioned before, with our business plan, hardly any of it exists still to this day on how we run this business. And a lot of it has been based on client feedback, what people want when they come in here. And we've adjusted and learnt along the way to adapt to what people want. And I think that's why we've been successful so far for the last 2.5 years, and we'll hopefully continue to be successful because we're giving the services that people here in Perth want. But super scary to start. Lots of different hurdles, financial hurdles. But at the end of the day, if it's something you really want and you're passionate about it like we are, it's so worth it.
100%.
Super worth it.
Yeah, I think like Reece said, it was scary. Me personally, it was very scary, because you've worked hard to get where you are, and then you're taking a big risk on a facility that you're not sure if it's going to work straight away. If you're going to get the clientele base coming through, and then like Reece said, not having a background in business. We did do a course together, but again, that was one course, and we're still learning. We're still learning. We're doing our own bits. We're searching online what we can get better at, and that's I think that's been the biggest, scariest thing for me personally. But I've loved it. I loved it because, like Reece said, it's our passion. we wouldn't have gone into it if we didn't do our homework on what we wanted to achieve from it.
Yeah.
Like Chris said, we had a business plan that we I guess sort of followed, but we didn't go in blind either.
Yeah.
You know, we did the numbers. We thought, okay, this could work, this could work, this could work. Some things haven't. Cool, that happens. But then other things have come about, and
Yeah.
I think that's what's helped us so far.
For sure.
I think the other scariest thing was this isn't a franchise. You know, this is something that we created, and it's not been done here in Perth before. And I don't think it's been done in Australia before, if I'm honest. I still haven't seen anyone that does what we do around the country. So that was daunting. It's like, why hasn't this been done before?
Yeah. It's almost a
There
question.
there must be a reason, because the amount of people that have come in here and said, I had this idea.
I was going to do that back in 1979. I was like, okay,
Should have done
did
it.
you?
Because at the end of the day, if you think about it and you look at this place, I mean, we've got a net and we laid some turf down the
painted walls.
warehouse. It's not super complicated. It's what we physically do in here that's made us successful. But yeah, that was the scary thing. That was the scary thing. That it's a brand new idea that we created.
Yep.
Because a lot of coaching companies, if you will, they start from the outside and then they go in if they want to. So all our coaching competitors here in Perth, you know, they go to a local park
Based outdoors.
or they're based outdoors. We flipped it and went from the other way, which we thought was unique. You know, we always wanted with our idea to have a point of difference.
Yeah.
We didn't want to just start another coaching business, which was just like everyone else.
Generic.
Yeah, generic. You went to different venues. You know, you coach kids there. We wanted to have that point of difference, and albeit it's a huge point of difference,
Yeah.
it's now what the football centre's known for.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, and don't get me wrong, I don't think we really second guessed ourselves either.
Yeah.
We sort of took the risk and thought this is the route we wanted to take, even though we had outside people just, you know, being negative and saying this wouldn't work, you know, nothing's going to happen from it. And we were just like, you know what, we didn't listen to the negativity.
Yeah.
We stayed positive for what we believed in and how we thought it could work, and we took the plunge, we took the risk. And we know, I think from our backgrounds as well, having that base in Perth football,
It was important.
yeah, it's hugely important, you know, because we get families now that trust us with their kids, and that's great to see. You know, as a kid myself, you'd always look up to people playing in just the state league, professionals, whoever. And now I think it's flipped, and we're those guys. So we're considered as role models to the kids coming through too,
Sure.
which is great, and to, I guess, to the parents as well.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, nothing more pleasing to hear.
Yeah.
When you get a good story from a parent saying how much their kids love us.
Yeah.
And that's the best feeling.
For sure.
I think what also Dean mentioned there was super important. It's not like we came up with this idea and didn't speak to him. We spoke to a lot of people. And as he mentioned, it's not like everyone was saying, this is a fantastic idea, go for it. You know, 80 to 90% of people are like, no,
What are you doing?
what are you doing? Like, this won't work.
Because it's new. A lot of
It's
people
new,
are.
and
you know,
it's scary for them to hear something. You're creating something brand new.
Yeah.
It's not a franchise model, and you're just launching into this with all these upfront expenses, if you will, with, you know, leasing the warehouse. It's not going to work. I think we're super confident in what we created, that I don't think anything was going to hold us back, and nothing still will. Is someone's opinion, we take it on board. If it's positive and something we can learn from, we'll accept it. If it's not, we just leave it there.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect us. If we listen to what everyone said, this wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
It literally wouldn't exist. So we keep striving to be better. And like I said, opinions, everyone has them. And we accept them from people we trust and respect. And if they're positive, we can take them on board. Awesome. If not, we just leave them where they are.
Yeah. I think what Dean touched on was having a really supportive, like the families that come here all the time have been amazing.
Yep.
And for a small business, having a good base of clientele that have been consistently coming is super important. But the families we've had come in here and the consistent boys and girls have been probably a big part of why it's been successful.
Yeah.
Continuing people coming back.
And from that, it's word of mouth, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we're treating the kids and the parents the best way we can, and from that word of mouth, they'll hear the same thing, and they'll want to bring their kid to us. So I think that's super important about Reece and I. We're really accommodating with new people coming in, with people we know, and we're friendly. You know, we want the best for the kid, but also at the same time we're open and honest. You know, being professionals, you got to be realistic too, and it takes a lot of hard work. And like I said, being open and honest with parents, I think they appreciate that too, and having that connection with them to be able to do that is also very important, because I know a lot of different companies, you know, they'll say their kid's going to be the next Ronaldo, whoever, but
it's just
realistically, it's false sense of achieving something great, you know, and the realism of actually getting to that goal is extremely hard. So we always try and instill that in our kids when we're coaching them, that it takes a lot of hard work, and you might get a bit lucky to, you know, that 1% to make it to the top, you know.
I think I want to mention also our wonderful coaches, yourself, Treno, and other people that work for us. They create the environment that people want to come back as well, and families and kids want to come back, which is also very important. We don't just bring people in.
Session's over and it's like...
and then see you later. You know, we coach kids, yes, that's one aspect of what we do, but it's also forming relationships with these families and kids. That is more important. Because realistically, these kids aren't going to play professional football. So you want the time they spend here in the football centre to be fun, positive, and almost like a relief from the rest of their life. When they come here, they know they can work hard, they can have fun, they can try their best, and they'll remember it for the rest of their life. The relationship is more important than the football aspect for us.
That's something
And I think, as going back to what you mentioned there, Treno, that's why families come back. That's why they keep coming back. Yes, they get a wonderful service in, hopefully, the coaching that we deliver. But it's also forming those relationships, which is super important.
Cool. So how important has social media been or the positives and negatives of social media in terms of advertising the company? I mean, a lot more probably positives than negatives, but have you found anything that...
Yeah, I mean, super positive. I mean, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you can literally start a business in a day. And we've seen it with new competitors, like in coaching competitors, I mean, pop up
make an Instagram account.
You make a logo, you make an Instagram account, you make it look pretty, you have a colorway, you have a flow, and all of a sudden you're someone.
It's so powerful.
So powerful. Yeah, super powerful, and it's massively helped us. And we'll continue to use our Instagram. It's where kids are, it's where our target audience is. So it's a huge tool for us, and something people like watching and like using, and they'll continue to use. So we need to keep up to date. We don't want to fall behind in that regard, and it's something that will drive this business forward. So in regards to the negatives of it, we don't see it as a negative. We don't see it as a negative. We see it something positive that we need to get better at. And continue to grow. And with that, hopefully we can reach more people. Obviously, we're based in Perth, so we can only work with Perth-based people, but social media is so powerful. There's things we haven't even touched on, which I'm sure we will in a second, in regards to mentoring online and things like that, which is a huge avenue for us, and that will be powered through social media.
Well, I think because we run, obviously, like we had to an over 35 tournament, we coach a lot of young players, but with social media, you can sort of reach everyone, the sort of whole audience, which is really good as well.
It's a global thing, isn't it? You know, social media, you get eyes from all over the world. You know, if you're putting out great content. So I think we've had people from up north come and visit us, wanting to train. People from eastern states coming to train with us. You know, we've had messages all over Instagram saying, when are you going to come to Sydney to train, or to Melbourne, or wherever, you know, to do a session. So
I had that boy from Kalgoorlie come down for the Man United game, remember?
So that's amazing. You know, we're reaching those types of audience. That's awesome. But like Reece said, we're not there yet. You know, we still want to grow with our social media.
The power of social media, hey? You, like Dean said, you reach everyone. And that's awesome from a business point of view. You get your brand out there more. It's branding, and that's what we want.
For sure. Now, as someone who works here, I always feel like there are lofty ambitions all the time, and it's always looking forward. So there's always optimism in the air, you know.
We're a positive bunch here.
So what can you tell us about sort of the future plans and where you see, because we've been open 2.5 years, where can you see it going? Maybe 1-2 years down the track.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in our personal lives going on at the moment, which plays a big factor in where this venture goes. You know, we've had a lot of people mention the franchise route, which is always an option. Opening up another one in Perth, maybe further north or south, that's an option. Whether it goes over east, that's another option. At the moment for us, I think we're still very focused in here. We're currently running a project at the moment, trying to get our liquor license in here, and sort out a bar, which I think would be awesome if it comes through. So once we get approval of that, we can start building the bar. That'll be fantastic for the business, and just to add a different dynamic to what we do, not in regards to obviously coaching, but all the social tournaments we run at night. It'll create a different dimension to our tournaments, which is awesome. But for myself, in regards to where this goes over the next year or two, we just want to keep growing what we've already established. We want to reach a bigger audience and help more people and affect more people in a positive way.
Yeah, I think before we can look further, we have to make sure this one is right. You know, it's done right first. So look, we're on our way to doing that, I hope. But it takes time, like Reece said, you know, and anything can happen within the next 2 years that, you know, we could either end up going further down the route with we're building one south and one north, or we're building one over east. We don't know, or we just stick with the one. Yeah. You know, and that takes time. It takes, I guess, building this brand here first and foremost. This is the most important job at hand.
Yeah, for sure.
I think also is we've never been driven by money. Well, I know I haven't. So that's not really a huge focus for us. It's more that we're passionate about what we're doing. We're happy with walking in here each day. That's a big driver for us. It's not about making millions of dollars and, you know, setting us up for life. It's about being happy every single day. And I think that's why, and when we started this venture, it was a huge focus for us, and all the negativity that came with it was like, yeah, but this is going to make us happy. Yeah. So we're going to do it. Like, I want to be happy for the majority of my life. If I'm going to do this for the next 30 years and walk in here, I know this will make me happy. Working with kids, you know, being able to watch social tournaments, that's something we've created. That's awesome. Yeah. You know, I hear so many of my friends and people just around, you know, they're going to a job they hate every single day. It's like, that's 3/4 of your life. You know, 9 to 3, 9 to 5 every single day, 5 days a week, where you go and you don't enjoy. Yep. I didn't want that for my life. Nah. I didn't want that for my life, and I'm sure Dean's the same. And I've always been that way inclined. I've always only done something I'm passionate about, and that's how I continue to live the rest of my life.
Fantastic. So, in terms of the overall business and sort of the high-level idea of what you want to give out to everyone and what you want to advertise the business as, what would you describe the centre as at the moment, and what we're doing at the moment?
Look, basically, we try and cover every aspect of football, like Reece said. Yeah. You know, we run in different programs every day, 2 to 5 year old programs. Generic sessions during the week, so 7 to 9 year old, 10 to 13, private one-on-ones, birthday parties, 5-a-side social tournaments. So we're trying to cover everything. Yep. We want to do everything, and we want to leave our mark on, I think,
as many people.
Kids, as many people as we can. And for me personally, that's, like Reece said just before, you want to be happy doing that. And my philosophy in that sense was to, you know, just get the most out of kids, people, parents coming in and getting some sort of enjoyment factor coming out of here every day. For sure. You know, when they're training. So, yeah, I love what I do. This doesn't seem like work to me because it's something we've grown up doing. And it's a fun, happy part of our lives. So, yeah, we still want to leave a different mark on the people coming in, like I said before.
Cool. I think football's a powerful part of my life, and I just want to pass it on to others, and I can now do that through the football centre. So the football centre is this facility where people can enjoy the game, no matter what age, no matter what ability, no matter what time. You can come in here and enjoy the beautiful game. That is purest.
For sure. Could even run a FIFA tournament in the
Run
future.
a FIFA tournament. If I could turn that camera around, Treno, and show you the TV over there.
You would.
Don't look at those cards.
We're going to have to get those cards.
I need to get a card.
We need to get those. Trent needs to get a card, but we need to get those cards.
Well, you don't want Danny Wilson doing it, do you?
No.
Yeah, who knows what score he'll give you.
Who knows?
They'll come on episode 3, those FIFA cards.
I'll be up here somewhere.
Okay. So I think that wraps us up for the second episode of the Football Centres podcast. Boys, you've both got games tonight?
Yeah, first game tonight, 6:30 against Perth Soccer Club, so that'll be a fiery encounter, but a good one. It'll be a tough challenge.
Reece?
8:30 kickoff straight after Dino.
Very late.
I'm not looking forward to that kickoff time, but it is what it is, and
It'll be
I'll be there. It will be a late night, especially with an early session tomorrow morning.
I thought we covered a lot in the episode talking about the centre itself. So if you're interested in what we do here, I think this would be a great listen. Next week, is it a weekly podcast?
It is a weekly podcast.
Okay.
We'll try our best, Trent,
Okay.
to make it a weekly
Okay,
podcast.
100%.
Get some people on, give the people what they want.
Exactly. I think Dean's on the episode might have more viewers, apparently.
Apparently,
The
he
people
was
want
given.
to see me. You know what I'm saying?
It was given at the big one leading up. Hey, we'll see if the views change at all.
I reckon we'll creep up a bit. How do you reckon?
I think so. Thank you very much for watching, boys.
Treno,
Pleasure.
pleasure
Thanks,
as
Trent.
always, mate.
No worries. Okay, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.